Hearing is not listening. He who hears and stops to hear more is a listener. Listening is conscious hearing. Conscious hearing requires concentration, and with practice becomes a skill. Cultivated listening becomes an art. Listening is purposeful and analytical. Not everybody who hears is conscious of having heard.
I first became aware of John Hutchinson's bird recordings a number of years into my tenure at the State Library. I generally work with music collections, and it was really interesting to me that we had this incredible archive of sound that was primarily field recordings. John became quite serious about recording bird sounds in 1959 when he was relocated to run the government's noxious weed control program across the Kimberley and the Pilbara.
It was during long, lonely trips in the north, extending to as long as 6 months per trip, that I found it essential to undertake a hobby of some sort. As I arrived with a tape recorder, it became natural to use it. I knew then that I was meant to be doing what I was doing. That is, recording bird sounds.
Well, John's collection is fantastic because it really helps you understand what species are there. There's no ambiguity with such high quality recordings. It's also a wonderful kind of historical log because you can go back to these places where the recordings were made and compare the soundscape now to the soundscape when he did it.
It is not only necessary to discover which tree the bird sleeps in, but also which bough and which twig it perches on, and in which direction it faces whilst perched. The bird song is monitored on headphones, and if good enough, and if there is no wind, and if there are no trucks or aircraft roaring within about 5 miles, if there are no roosters crowing, dogs barking, children crying, then it is possible to take a recording, and victory is mine.
So I think what John's research did is really help open up a whole field of bioacoustics. And it's groundwork, like what John did, spending so many hours in the field getting these beautiful quality calls, that have made us aware of what's out there and allowed us to apply that to good conservation outcomes.
Shifting focus to a different kind of listening opens up new ways of thinking about how we can archive our environment, how we can archive the moment that we exist in, and how sound can relate to the way that we go about living our lives.
There's plenty of scope for plenty of people with plenty of patience. Yours sincerely, John Hutchinson.